All right. How's everyone doing? I have a laptop in my hands instead of a guitar. Um, I just realized I forgot a part of the song, so I'm going to try to tap it out real quick. See if I can do it without playing it. Oh, you know what? I can copy paste. Copy. Let's see. Hold on a second. Is everyone well? Hey, Sam. Mugu Boogoo's here. Are you not normally able to make it? Let's see if I can drag this over here. Put it here. I'm gonna transpose. I forgot one of the licks. All right, let's do this. So like I said, this makes for an awful intro for this. Okay, so I got to take this note here. Where is it? Here, and I'm going to add this sound. Okay, I'm going to go up a fifth and up a fourth. Why is it playing? It should be F sharp. Okay, there we go. Oh, right. Okay. This should be also. We got to make some changes here. All right. Now let me drag this down to here, the second fret. Okay, and I think drag this note down. So I'm using finale, which is if I had it to do over again. Oh, this should be okay. I'm sorry. If I had to do over again, I probably would use Sibelius. So, so you're sitting there watching me. This is like an episode of CSI. You're watching me on the computer. Look, oh, Bob did kill Steve. Oh, so this, dang it. Now I got to redo this. All right. Write this down. It's all very exciting. I don't need this to be here. All right, so I can delete that. You don't know. See, I can't show you what I'm doing. Wish I could do a screen grab. Okay, so go to the open in preview and do a screen grab. Here we go. See if I can get this. Yeah, I think this is what he did. Here. So, all right, so this is a band. That's one clue. It's in the key of E. That's another clue. And it's a band we've already done. So if you want to start, I may cut off the beginning of this video. Sorry. I'm so sorry. Yes, save. Okay. So now I have to drag this over to this computer. AirDrop it from one computer to the other. Come on, show up. Why are you not showing up? Oh, there it is. Okay. Takes a second. I always get so impatient with computers. So I had a meeting with these guys in London that are going to collect neighboring rights or money for me. So in Europe, they pay not only royalties to songwriters and producers and record companies and all that, and artists, they also pay to the musicians that played on it, even if it wasn't a union session. And I've been we're buffering. Um, so we're so we so there's in Europe they pay to musicians. If a song plays on the radio, then the musicians on the song also get a little bit of money. And it's not. I mean, it's like the song would have to play 1,000 or 10,000 times for it to add up to any amount here. Oh, vocal volume is low. Interesting. Hello, 1 2. Well, that's easy fix. 1 2 1 2 1 2. Hello. I was just in a Zoom, so I wonder if that affected it or not. But is that better? Yeah. So hey, John. Sorry. Good to see you. I apologize for this being. Hey. Oh, in fact, are you the only moderator at this moment? Okay. Yeah. So far, you're the first moderator, Holly. You're not late. You're right on time. I haven't done anything yet. So I have. Okay. Oh, let's see. And I have been I worked nonstop yesterday, so I'm pretty tired. And it's like I wasn't out there weed whacking though. I'm not that kind of tired. More my brain is tired. Weed whacking. It's a little warm today, but I could totally do that today. I would like to. That would be fun to actually get out in the. Although it's got to be hard to be if it's hot outside, Holly, to be doing that kind of work in the heat, because you kind of have to cover up. Otherwise, you're going to get scratches and chiggers and all that kind of stuff on your chigger bites on your legs and arms. So it's in 4/4 time. Yes, that's a good question. 4/4 meaning 4 quarter notes per bar. So 1 2 3 4. In fact, that's about the tempo right there. All right. Key of E. We've done this group before, so it's a band. All right. Let me see. Let me get rid of this. What am I looking for? I got to find the download here, the file. Okay. And I've actually named the files this time. So they will be called what they are. Did I change them? I didn't change them. They're still ping images. But I'm going to type it here. I actually think I accidentally said the song at the end of, very, very quietly, I accidentally said the name of the song. All right. So I've got everything ready to go. So, so what I'm wanting to do is, for this time frame, I'm trying to give out clues. Band, okay, 60s. The band, 60s, key of E, 4/4. We've done this band before. Yeah, you'll trade me? Yeah, chainsaw chaps. Yeah, brush helmet. Yeah, bush helmet. Yeah, it's got to be. Yeah, that's a dirty job, and you got to spend a week. And so I'm kind of going easy on you this week. I've talked about this song before. I don't want to, again, there's some songs I wanted to do, and I can tell you this one probably now just because I'm not going to do it, but I wanted to do Rhiannon. And you can learn that one. That's a fun one, but I still haven't gotten it down yet as far as getting the thumb pattern against them. I even wrote it out so that I could look at it and kind of have it in my head, but it's difficult. But I think that he recorded those two parts separately. I don't think that because the way he's playing that, it's like you couldn't be doing, and it sounded like two different guitar sounds. Live, he does it. But that's different. On the recording, I think it's two different recordings. I think he did the top line and he did the bottom line. He recorded them separately. But let me just tune real quick. Also, kind of a clue, I've got a clean sound. So the song, I guess you could say, is kind of a clean sound. You know what's interesting is when I, like, so many of the songs I've done for artists, if it's a clean guitar, they think it's an acoustic guitar. Like, people think that ETA is an acoustic guitar. It's like, it's not an acoustic guitar, it's just a clean electric. So, all right, everybody's saying hi. Badge, no, that's a good song, though. Guess the band first. Start there, and then you'll narrow it down. You'll definitely narrow it down because then the Chain. Yeah, Chain's a good song too. Really good song. But no, we're not. It's not Fleetwood Mac. The band is not Fleetwood Mac. This is a '60s song. It's a band we've already done a song from. No, Tim, we're not doing Fleetwood Mac. We already did. I mean, I may do Rhiannon at some point, but it's hard for me to hear the C chord, what he's doing over the C chord. He always plays with his fingers. Oh, did I? Oh, sorry. You're right. I didn't pin it. I did. So I'm going to pin this now. Thank you. And it's pinned. Thanks for that. REM. No, they weren't around in the 60s. We did a song. We did Everybody Hurts, which is a really nice tune. Put this down a little bit. Oh, what? Uh-oh. Something crashed. Are you guys still seeing me? That was weird. My other monitor just shut down. Huh. I don't know what's going on. All right. Hey, Bruce. Oh, weird. I thought I changed yesterday's lesson to catching up. Oh, I did. Yeah, I'll change it. I thought I changed it, but I guess it didn't keep. Oh my goodness, so we are having some issues here. Are you seeing that? That's weird. I'm wondering if I have, let me start quitting some things. All right. I don't need that open. I'm hoping my computer's not about to die. I've ordered a new one, but it's not going to be here for a while. So, okay. Well, thanks everybody. Okay. So, did we guess the band yet? Monkeys. No, we haven't done the Monkeys yet. So I'm buffering, it looks like here on my end. I don't know what's going on. So you might see some buffering. Okay, it's a British band. So not Crosby, Stills, Nash and Young, which we haven't done yet. Have we done a CSN song? Yes, it's an original for the band, not Cream. Okay, so now we've really narrowed it down. You're like all going back, looking back. What songs have we learned? Let's see. Brian, what's going on? Bob Schumann, good to see you. Mamba's got a lot of guesses out there. Tim D, welcome. I'm in the green right now, but I'm wondering if we're having power issues. We're supposed to be losing power all summer long, so that's going to make it really hard. We haven't done Stoics. Nope, not Pink Floyd. We have done a Pink Floyd song. We did the one that my friend wrote that never got credit for it. I saw the Rick Beato did the "What Makes a Song Great" with Elton John and Tiny Dancer. It's a great song. It's a great chorus. He really makes a good. And it's amazing how he has all the isolated tracks. Yes, Charlie B. We got the Beatles. The Beatles is correct. 60s, key of E, electric guitar. That should pretty much narrow it down. 4/4. Actually, the other Beatles song we did, what was that? You Gotta Hide Your Love Away. That was in 6/8. So, and I've got the licks right here, ready to go. So let me get rid of that. Let me get rid of that. Let me get rid of these windows here. All right. Oh, darling, that's a great song. But that's not the song. Star Standing, that's also a good song. Well, Beatles, it'd be hard to find a bad one. Yes, Bob Schumann got it. Day Tripper. I've talked about this one before. I think I even mentioned that I was going to teach it. It's a fairly simple song. That's kind of why I wanted to do it. I don't want to do anything that's going to be too complex. And then I realized, listening to it again today, like, oh shoot, I forgot to do the B lick. So there's an E lick, then there's an identical A lick, and then they do the lick in the riff in B. So so let me change this. Edit. And there's some interesting things. There's some interesting things about this song. We'll just talk about, like I like, me, I like to kind of talk about the theory of things. I almost could keep it. Oops, dang it. It's so hard not to grab the window. There we go. All right. So the first lick. And I've actually got a clean amp up, but because I'm playing with humbuckers and I'm driving it fairly hard, the amp's kind of breaking up, but it's a Fender Twin basically. And so there's a few things you can always look at the tab. But also, this would be a great song to learn the week that you're learning about ties. Ties are those little bar things. Now, there's technically 2 ties in there, and then there's actually a hammer-on, which I'm using a tie to notate a hammer-on, okay? So that second and third note, that's technically a hammer-on. In music notation, you would use a hammer-on. Use a tie to notate that. In other words, if I were to have like that, it would just be, you'd write those 4 notes out and you'd put a tie over it in music notation. Okay? But in this case, it's just, I'm going from G natural to G sharp, 3rd fret to the 4th fret. So the first thing you want to do is hit E. And everybody, you know the rhythm already, so you don't really need to read the rhythm. You already know how the song goes. You just need to know where the notes are. All right? Yeah, there are probably bad Beatles songs. Oh, I forgot. Today's Wednesday. That's right, the Gardeners. Dang it. I'll leave it open. I need the light. I forgot about the Gardeners. Hopefully it won't do the hedges right under the window here. So, oh, good. And that's awesome. You were just playing around with that. Okay. So, it's just such a great lick. And that second there, or you can think of it as the 9th if you want to. It's kind of like a 9th chord. He's playing all the notes in a 9th. They're playing all the notes in a 9th chord. I don't know whose riff this is. Who's singing it? That usually tells you who wrote the song. If Paul's singing it, Paul usually wrote it. This is still early enough where they were still collaborating. Being a riff, you know, again, it doubled on the bass. It totally could be a Paul thing. It makes sense that it would be a Paul riff. All right. So let's go over this note by note. Okay. So we hit the open E string, third finger or second finger on the third fret, and then hammer on the third finger on the fourth fret. And then you're going to lay down your first finger to get these two notes, like that. So you're going to get the second fret of the fifth string and second fret of the fourth string, and then hit open. Okay? So it's 1, 2, and 3, and 4, and. Okay? So we have 1, 2, and 3, and 4, and that's our first high that is actually connecting two notes, two values to the same note. So you don't hit that D note the second time. Okay? You see that D note, the first note of the second bar. You don't hit that again. That's what a tie does. It allows you to connect the value, particularly across bar lines or across beat beginnings, okay? Thank you, Holly. Holly's doing all the paperwork. She already knows this lick, so she's just helping out. Primarily by John Lennon. Thank you, Sam. I appreciate that. Yeah, and that also makes sense because John was a very good guitar player, very licky, you know, could come up with something like this. Oh, and you're right, he's singing that, isn't he? Okay, so let's just get the first half. Once you have this E lick down, then the whole thing moves down one string to go to the A lick. The B lick's different, but I forgot that they did it. I thought the B lick was, anyway, my brain shut off. Okay, so open E, third fret, fourth fret, hammer on, and then 2, 2, 0, and then back to the second fret of the fifth string, and then reach up and get the fourth fret of the fourth string, and then back to the second fret of the fifth string, and then open D, and then like that. And I think they're plucking those last two notes. So open E, third, fourth, second, fourth string, open, second fret on the fifth string, fourth fret on the fourth string, and back to the fifth fret, second fret, and then open, and then open D, and then the E. That B note is played 3 times there. God. Rhythmically, it's a very interesting riff, and you can even, if you want to, we can clap the rhythm 2, 3, 4, bum, 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 because you know the rhythm, so you're not reading that. You just know how the song goes. See, this is Alex would always do this to me. I would like try to teach him how to read music, and he would memorize it before so he wasn't reading anymore. He was just imitating what he heard me play. So I had to learn when I was teaching him. Well, I did this with other students that did the same thing. I had to learn to not play it, so they couldn't copy what I was doing. I said, no, just read. And then they'd be like, oh, man, oh, come on. So, am I taking requests? JB, is that JB? No. It depends. Depends what's the request. I'm teaching a song, so we're doing a mystery song every week, alternating between acoustic songs and electric songs. However, happy to take a request of a song to teach in the future, but keep in mind it has to be a fairly easy song. I don't want to be like, or not too long of a song. Like I could do Stairway to Heaven, but that would probably take 18 of these lessons. So, yeah, we're not going to do that one. Okay, so the E riff, again, whoops. Now, picking-wise, I mean, you could... go with a pure alternating, which would mean that all the notes that fall on the beat, the downbeats, you'll pluck down. All the notes that fall on the end of the notes, because we're just dealing with eighth notes in total here. Well, we already did Wonderwall. We already did Wonderwall. Yeah, I should do a video of. Although, see, I don't generally do these lesson videos or play existing songs. The only reason I'm doing, so far we've only had one of the songs that I had to do a revenue sharing thing, and that was the one that my friend wrote, which is hilarious. The Pink Floyd song that my friend wrote. Wonderwall is definitely one of them. Or it's not even songs so much that people ask guitar players to play. It's songs that they play when they pick up the guitar, like "Stairway to Heaven." That's why that they made a joke about that in Wayne's World about no Stairway to Heaven. And some guitar stores actually have that sign up just because it's funny. And so, why the tie? Yeah, I explained that. That in music notation, it's also known as a hammer-on. It's a hammer-on or a slur. On violin, it would be like, like that kind of thing. So that's why the tie. It's two different notes. You could pluck each of those notes if you want, but I'm hearing them hammer on. So I'm hearing hammer-ons on that first note, but you could pluck those individually. Okay, so talking about plucking, if we were to just play the rhythm on the E string open, if you wanted to do pure alternating picking, it would be down, up, down, up, down, up, down, up, up, down, up. I don't think anyone's going to really pick it that way though. Down, up, down, up, down, up, down, up, up, down, up. Well, I just did. But as you try to get something faster, like I could play this with all downstrokes. Kind of hard to tell from the recording if he's using up and downstrokes or all downstrokes. You can kind of tell if someone's using all downstrokes. You can kind of tell if someone's using all downstrokes or all upstrokes. I mean, I had a student that actually used all upstrokes, which is really funny, but or alternating pattern. You can sometimes tell because it feels a little heavier. Like if I want to really kind of drive a song, particularly an eighth note thing, I'll go to all eighth notes. Like if I'm doing, it's like. That's probably all down. If I go alternating, you're much more likely to put a swing in there. Da 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 da. Right? If you're doing alternating picking, you're more likely to kind of add that little bit of swing. And I do feel. It's hard to do. In reality, only computers really do perfect eighth notes. Even as humans, when we're trying to do perfect eighth notes, quantized, as we say, they won't. They'll swing a little bit just because that's our nature. So, all right. So now we need horns. Exactly. Okay, so maybe don't do the hammer on then. Yeah, you're right. It probably isn't a hammer-on. Damn it. Okay, so I'm gonna redo those riffs for the. Well, I'll post them in the Discord now. I'll post everything in the Discord. Sorry, just so you know, I started to tab out 3 different songs that Sunday night or Monday night, and I didn't finish 2 of them because I got into them and I went, no, not Discogs. What am I looking for? Sorry, I got to find Discord. Where's Discord? There it is. And so I just was moving too fast. And I didn't have the guitar in my hand when I tabbed this out. I was doing it by ear. So let me grab all of these licks, and then I'll replace these later. But this way you can have all of them. So if we go to Tom's lesson PDFs in the Discord, you can go to the link, join for free. It doesn't cost anything. I'm not asking for money. You can always super chat me. I always appreciate that. All that money's going to the wedding. My daughter's getting married. All right, so here we go. So yeah, maybe ignore that hammer-on then. Just go ahead and pluck each of those notes, but that's fine. Because then we're talking about it's easier to play the up and down stroke thing. So okay, now that's the E riff. If you got that down, I don't even need to keep that up here. I'm going to get rid of that for now. And I'm going to put the A riff up there. If you have the D riff down, it goes the A riff. Now, technically, the E riff, it's in, if you don't think about that G natural, it's a Mixolydian lick. It's been really solidly based on the E7 thing, on the E7 chord. When we talked about blues, we talked about literally when you play the blues, like for example in E, which is what this song is basically the blues, E, A7, and B7, all 3 of those 7th chords, they're not in the same key. Now you're playing, it says, oh, play blues in E, and you play those 3 chords. But technically, there's only, in a diatonic key, there's only one dominant 7th chord, and it's the 5 chord. So when you're playing in E7, you're technically in the key of A major, because that's the 5 of A. When you're playing that A7 chord, you're technically in the key of D. And so now you're in the key of D because A7 is the 5 of D. When you play the B7 chord, the B7 lick, so when you play the B7 lick, you're technically in the key of E there because B7 is the 5 of the E chord. So when you play the blues, you're technically playing 3 chords that are not in the same key, but yet you can do things on top of that play like a B minor pentatonic or B minor blues. I'm sorry, E minor pentatonic or E minor blues that works fairly well over all 3 chords. People are used to hearing those licks over whatever, all 3 of the chords. So, so the second riff is an A riff. So ignore that hammer-on then. We're going to play each note individually. To me, for some reason, the hammer-on sounds right, but yeah, those are all technically are they examples of secondary dominant? It's not. No. To me, Sam, if it's a secondary dominant, it's got to resolve to the chord that it's being. Sorry, I'm gonna step away from this. Okay, here we go. If it's a secondary dominant, usually what that means is you're like for example in a pop context, if it's we're in the key of A, we're in the key of C, A minor, F, C, G, whatever. We're in the key of C or A minor, but we're in the key of C. And the 5, the dominant in key of C is G, or G7. But in this case, I went to an E7. Well, that's not in the key of A minor, pure A minor, or C diatonic. It's the secondary dominant. It's the 3 major 3/7 chord, because that's the 3. If I go C, D, E, then I end up with an E note, and if I build a 7th chord, I'd be E7, and that leads really strongly to that. So yeah, it's interesting. Hey, Kathy Short, what's going on? So yeah, I wouldn't refer to them as secondary dominants. Because again, pretty much when anyone's playing the blues, if they're playing over E7, you're not going to necessarily think A major scales. It's not going to work. You're going to think E mixolydian. Which is the same notes as the key of A major. They're relative. They have the same exact notes in them, but they start on different notes and end on different notes. So when we go to the A riff, technically we're playing A7, which is in the key of D, but I'm not thinking, you wouldn't necessarily think the key of D major in that scenario, because again, if you're thinking in your head, if you're thinking, oh, A7 is the 5 of D, so I should play D major scale. The problem with that is if you're thinking D, if you're being D-centric, so to speak, you're going to hit a lot of D notes, and probably of all the notes in the key of D that are the least likely to work over an A7 chord is probably the D note. Like, I can make almost every other note of that scale work great, but that D note is hard to sell. And so if you're thinking you're in the key of D over an A7 chord, you're probably going to land on some Ds, and it's going to be like, whoa. There was the band I played with in Indianapolis before I moved to California was a band called Malachi, and we were like a top 40. We played, at the time, we did a lot of R&B and soul, funk. We did a lot of Earth, Wind, and Fire and Commodores and stuff. It was like the late 70s, early 80s. Earth, Wind, and Fire was like our favorite, but we did Toto and stuff, like bands like that as well. And the sax player he was the only musician in the band that actually got a degree in music, but he kind of went to Butler University, where I went. He was older than me. Like, everybody in the band was 10 years older than me, but he got a degree in music. But it was like, he could play in big bands, he could play in orchestras and things like that, and he was fine playing the top 40 band when he was playing section parts. But anytime he soloed, it was always like he was always hitting weird notes. Like, what are you doing? I couldn't figure out how he was thinking over it. And default is just go to the blues scale. Like, if you're playing over, I don't care if it's something that's so major that, it'd be like, but if you have to solo over something, it kind of reminds me of the Monkees or something, because all those, the Wrecking Crew did all the playing on that, and they're like, oh, rock and roll is just the minor, minor pentatonic over the major chord progression, and that's rock and roll. And that's an oversimplification, but it is kind of what was going on a lot. And a lot of it was these older guys, because so many of the hits of the 60s were being played by jazz musicians that were going, oh, okay, we're going to play rock. We're rock players now, so this is how you play rock and roll. So the A riff, we're going to start on the A string, same lick. We did third finger on the 3rd fret, 4th fret. I guess we're not hammering it out. We're going to pluck every note, down, up, down, and then 2nd fret on the 4th string, and 2nd fret on the 3rd string, and an open 3rd string. Sam, it sounds right both ways. That's what's so funny about it. It's like, oh, I hammer it on it, it sounds right. I pluck it, it sounds right. It's like this weird thing. Oh, and and Ed McMahon did was Publishers Clearinghouse. Just so you know. They're saying the Mandela effect is in full force. So I guess I'm a victim of the Mandela effect. Okay, so then once you're there, then you go back to the second fret of the fourth string, and then reach up here and get that fourth fret of the third string, and then back to the fourth string, and then open G string. Okay. Now, when we do the B one later in the song, I think that's kind of how they're doing it, because they hit a power chord on the first one. That happens later in the song, and I did tab that out. Okay, definitely alternating peak. Yeah, they're not all downstrokes. All downstrokes sounds a little heavy to me. It's interesting to me that little nuance can change the emotion of a riff. Okay, it's a fun riff. Sometimes I play that first note upstroke because you got so much time. It's a dotted quarter note, so you're talking about all these eighth notes. You got all this time in the world to get your picking hand reoriented. I don't know. My wife was the English major, not me. So let's look at the notes in here. We got an A, C natural, C sharp. So we have the root, the flat third, the third. Okay, so it's a very blues lick. Very, very common. So what I did there was I'm just barring here. So I'm making like an A minor 7 chord here. But if I hammer on that C sharp on top of it, you immediately kind of imply the blues, but then bring in the dominant seventh. And that's what's happening. Okay? And then you go into the fifth, and then to the root. It's so funny, there's so many ways he could have done. Or he could have. Right? I mean, he may have experimented. It would be. I wish I knew. You know, there may be recordings of them playing it different ways, but it's like, did it just hit him? Was he messing around with it? But it's interesting. So he goes root and then fifth and then root and then to the dominant seventh. Now, if you want to play an A major, you know. Or A minor. Only one note would change. Well, technically two. Those would be. So playing, you can play the riff all sorts of different ways and go, oh wow, okay. Like if I did it in Phrygian, would be. That's kind of fun. What would Lydian make a difference? No, because there's no fourth in it. Yeah, so we major. If you want to tick people off, because everybody knows that rhythm, right? So you can just, one of the things I like to do is just move your hand up a half step. just to tick people off. I do that all the time. It sounds like you're working out this really complex thing and all you're doing is playing something you know very well up a fret. As long as it has open strings in it, it'll sound disjointed and make people angry. And really, that's what you want to do with your audience. You want to piss them off. Yeah, it's fun. Yeah, I hadn't thought about that, Holly, but yeah, we could, can make it a test for your students. You know, you can make it, the final exam is I'm going to play this riff in different modes and you have to write down what mode I'm playing. Actually, I wouldn't let them see my hands though. They would have to hear it. Yeah, yeah. So, okay. So the A riff and the B riff are the same. Now, I'm going to go ahead and pull this out. I'm going to get rid of this. Okay. Oh, see, now it makes sense if I name it, I can see it rather than being some weird number thing that normally it is. Okay. Now, this is the B section, and day trip. No, this is, and I probably don't have all the songs. Like I said, this was, oh shoot, this is going to be weird if I go too small with it. Okay. It doesn't really need a whole lot. I didn't need to write this out like this. I totally didn't. But I think here's what they're doing. For one thing, talking about not being in a key, this section, for one thing, right away, now we're going to secondary dominance here. In a way, Sam, so I'm going to contradict myself here. Playing the dominant, so it's more of a modal modulation thing, playing the dominant seventh as a root. So in other words, if I was playing the E lick and you played, because you're factoring in the G natural. I don't know. I wouldn't think of it that way. I just think of it as an E Mixolydian riff or blues. You know. So, like I said, this was the third song I tabbed for our lesson on Monday night, and I was getting too tired. The night before was a late night. So, but basically what's happening here, don't worry about being able to see this. We're going to just go over the chords. It's all major chords. So right away they go to a major 2 chord. Okay, so I'm just going to delete this for now, I think. I can't get it big enough for it to make sense for y'all. But see this? It has F sharp, A, G sharp, C sharp, B. Okay? And it's one of those things where when I figured this out, because I'd never played this song before. I mean, I probably taught it back in the day, but I'd never played it in a band. I don't think I've ever played in a band where we did even one Beatles song. I don't think that's not true. I used to do with my original band called Body, which is one of the worst band names ever, and it was my idea. We did, what was the Beatles song we did? Slow Down, I think. We did Slow Down, which is actually a really fun song. I don't even know if it's a Beatles song. It may be a cover. But Slow Down's a fun song to do. Nice eye chart. So what's happening is it goes to the major. So the thing that surprised me about this, my point is, like I said, I've never played the song all the way through, like with a band or anything. By the time I was really getting into guitar, I was a huge Beatles fan. That's why I started playing guitar. But when I was getting better, Beatles have been broken up for 5 years at that point, and I was really into jazz. So and LA session guys. So I wasn't really like figuring out Beatles songs But so when I figured this out, I was like thinking, oh yeah, the B section, it's all major chords. And so technically we're just moving major chords around. So it's like, and it sits on the F sharp major, so you're gonna have to make the bar chord, but you can just do the bottom 3 strings and make that power chord, but I'm hearing the third in there. So somebody's hitting that third, and so F sharp is at the 2nd fret, and you can make power chord. You don't need the bar all the way through. You don't need to go all the way to the bottom. You can just play like the bottom 4 strings. So you really get one note with this. So 1, 4, 4, 3. Oh, Mama, you're missing the best part. I'm just kidding. Okay, so there is no best part. It's a trick question. Okay, so you go to F sharp, and we do it for 4 bars. A, G sharp, C sharp major, B major. And when I initially was figuring that out, I was just following the bass line. A, okay, so that was F sharp minor then probably, because F sharp minor would make sense. No, major, okay, so F, A, Well, it goes to G sharp, it must be minor. No? So now there's a secondary dominant because we're going to the C sharp chord next. So that G sharp is the 5 of C sharp. And I'm gonna go over this again in a second here. And it's C sharp major, not minor. So I'm like, that's not right. No, it's and they're singing those notes. The melody is just following the bass line. I found out the harmony. I found out. So it's like, whoa, that's just. I mean, Nirvana did that, and that's part of the reason why Nirvana reminds me of Kurt Cobain's writing reminds me so much of the Beatles' writing. And normally the Beatles would be like a great song we could learn. It'd be a good electric one. Close your eyes. That's it. Wait, no, what's it? Is it? Ah. Shoot. Shoot. Yeah. Yeah, shoot. What am I? Oh, that's what it is. So, also, and then. All My Lovin' or whatever, but the Beatles had knew harmony. They knew that the 1 chord is major, they knew the 2 chord is minor, the 3 chord is minor, 4. They would use those all the time. They constantly, like for example, so All My Lovin' is so F sharp minor. So it's kind of that. To D and then B7, and that's the D is out of the key of E, but then they go into the 5 chord, so they would do that dominant based on the dominant 7th chord. But they would do those kind of little tricks, like they would do the minor 4 chord a lot. Like you want to write a song and make it. That minor 4 chord and it just sounds like a Beatles song right away. So they did those kind of tricks. I never noticed of them ever taking just a major chord and moving it around. And yet so to me that was kind of a revelation. And so the fret number, so just taking that chord moving around, you're at the 2nd fret, the 5th fret, the 4th, the 9th, and the 7th. So 4 for 4 bars. I'm sorry, 2nd fret for 4 bars, and then 1 bar each of the next one. So it's 2nd fret, 2, 5, 4, 9, 7. You could even go 2, 2, 2, 2, and then 5, 5, 4, 9, 7. And the names of the chords again are F sharp, A, all major, G sharp, C sharp, and then B. Oh, thanks. Yeah, my son worked at JPL for three and a half years. One of my sons, not Alex. No, I have a guitar player for a son and a rocket scientist for a son. So, okay. Now I just realized just as I was logging in that I needed another riff. So here's the B riff, and I think this is probably how they fingered it. I'm not exactly sure. And again, I may rebounce this, but don't do the hammer on. Just go ahead and play each note individually. We're going to start with a B power chord. So I'm at the 2nd fret on the 5th string, 4th fret on the 4th string, 4th fret on the 3rd string. So the whole riff has to get reorientated, or reoriented, or refingered, okay? So now instead of going to an open string to get that 7th, we're going to have to reach up with a pinky and get it, okay? So we get this, hit that power chord and then move your whole hand up. So you're in 2nd position, you're going to move to 4th position. And we're going to move back to 2nd position. So that's going to be, the little tricky thing there is when we go from the 6 back down to the 4 on the 2nd bar, that's going to be maybe a little bit of a challenge, but I was listening to it. I don't think he did that. And that might have been an overdub. I'm not sure. We're not going to get to the guitar solo. Reconfigured, yes, Bruce. We're going to reconfigure. We're going to reconfigure this riff. So if you got the riff down in E and A, it doesn't mean anything. You're starting from scratch, essentially. So we're going to have this, and then we're in 2nd position, meaning our first finger is assigned to the 2nd fret. Now we're going to go to 4th position, meaning our first finger is assigned to the 4th fret. And then the lick starts on the 5th fret, so we're going to use our 2nd finger and go to 6. So you could even practice that. Just practice that shift. Because that's where mistakes happen, is when you're moving your hand like that. You know, you go not far enough, or you go too far. You know, practice that. And then we're going to bar our first finger on the 4th fret and hit the 4th string and then the 3rd string. And then we're going to get that 7th there on the 4th string. Okay. So I'm going to slow down. So let's work on that part. What does that sound like? What song is that? All I can think was Winchester Cathedral. Kind of like that, right? I hate that song. That's like my least favorite song. I always hate it. I just hate any song where they use a megaphone sound. I hate that. It just drives me crazy. So if I have a least favorite song, that's really tops on the list. Oh, Kathy's gone. Dang it. I miss Kathy already. How many do we have right now? I haven't been checking. We kind of peaked. What do we peak at? Not very many. Well, 28. That's pretty good. And then went down really fast, probably because I'm goofing off. Okay, so you can. That's actually really good. Little mini exercise. Right? If you want to practice the picking, it would be up, down, up. Hilarious. Thanks, Sam. I can't listen to it. I would put it on here, you guys, but then I would trigger. It would, and I may still not be able to monetize this. We'll see. You just never know. But because I'm playing the riff and I'm playing it fast or slow or I'm talking over it, so far, with the exception of the Pink Floyd song, and I think I trimmed out the part, or did I just say share the royalties? And I'm fine with the sharing the royalty thing. I don't really have a problem with that. I'm assuming that's what Rick Beato does. The problem with that is that they control how many commercials, ads are in the video. That I don't like. And so because I make so little money on these videos, I make like $1 from these live streams, by the way. I only make money if you guys super chat me. So I don't, if I demonetize it, I'm not going to really lose anything. I think even if the video is not demonetized, I don't mean demonetize it. If I turn off monetization, then there would be no ads. I would do that over revenue sharing, mainly because, like I said, then they control. That's why so many times Rick Beato will have 1 million ads in his videos, and you're like, oh man, dang it, the record company's inserting all these ads. So according to Sam, there's a hammer on here, and I think it does this 4 times, right? And so at some point, we can put this whole riff together. Okay, that far. It's a great little exercise, like I said. But I would play that note short. So what I probably should have done is not tie it to that other C sharp, okay? Those ties, again, are a way to combine the value of 2 notes over beats and over bars. It's exactly what's happening there. Ignore the first tie, which is a hammer on. But that last note of the first bar is an A, okay? That tie is going across a bar line. That means that's a new bar. We're starting with downbeat 1. So that A note that's being tied to is the downbeat, is 1, the first beat of that bar. I don't want to get too convoluted here. So I've explained these things before, and you may or may not have understood them when I explained it before. And then this is the one time where one of you may go, oh, now I understand ties. Because ties are one of those things that's like, oh, what? No, wait, how does that work? So sometimes it's a little bit confusing. So sometimes I make it more confusing. But I would make that note short. In other words, instead of like that, letting it ring, I would go ahead and go short on it. You can almost treat it like a staccato. And then, because you're going to need to get from here to down here, back to second position, so that we can hit that power chord on a downbeat. Because if you'll notice, in that moment where that 6th fret note is there, that C sharp is, we have more time there than we do in the next 3 notes. The next 3 notes are all 8th notes. We don't have time to shift. So I could do that. But man, that's a quick jump. So you've got to jump when you can. When you're kind of figuring out how, and when John did this, I thought maybe. But Sam, it doesn't sound like an open string. It doesn't. It didn't sound like an open D string. Like you could do. But then you got to go to the power chord anyway. So you're still out of position, because if you do the lick that way, you're in first position because your first finger is getting the first fret notes. So. So, the other thing, you could go to the open B string and use the open B string on that last note. I thought, well, maybe they're doing that. And that, again, I had just a second to tab this out. And so I'm like, I don't hear, it doesn't sound like an open B string to me. 801 videos, oh my gosh. Crazy, I didn't even know. Oops, thanks, AJ. See, now, if I could figure it that way, right? So what I did is, here, check this out. Power chord, second position, move up to 4th position, do the riff, and then go back to the 4th fret, get that F sharp, and then the A you're going to get here again, and then hit the open B string. But it didn't sound like an open B string, but check it out. Yep. Thank you for the shop. Yep, for the wedding dress. The dresses, I don't know if that bill has come yet, but she ordered it, but I don't think they're gonna charge my credit card. It's like Apple when I order a computer, they don't charge it until they ship it. So she ordered it, but it's like the dress is like $1,000. She's going easy on me. $1,000 isn't too bad, but it's like buying a nice used car and then pushing it off the cliff the day you get it, basically. so that you just paid 1% of the dress there, AJ. Appreciate it. Trust me, every little bit helps. At the meeting I had this morning with some people, a couple guys in London, was to discuss neighboring rights. I'm gonna sign up with them to do. They're gonna collect. So I mentioned this before, but in America, when the money's paid, like radio stations, no money goes to the musicians on it. They don't do that. But in Europe, pretty much all over the rest of the world, they all pay musicians. In fact, they told me something interesting. It makes sense. I don't blame England for doing this. But England generally doesn't pay American musicians for playing on. In other words, if a song plays on the radio in England, money goes to the writers, the record company, the artist, the producers, and to the musicians. But in America, it's only for. And so they say, since you're not paying British musicians in America, we're not paying American musicians in Britain. But they said that they've softened on that. These guys are in Britain, and they said and they looked my catalog up, and they only saw my name on 3 songs. And they said, yeah, you should be getting a lot more money than you're getting because I've got I'm on 100 songs and movie soundtracks and all that stuff. So those UK people get up at crazy hours. Yeah, I know. I was keeping them up. That's the thing. Not keeping them up. It was 5 o'clock there, but I think that's normally when they would go home. I was like, hey, I can do 6 in the morning. I don't care. But they were like, we're fine with 5 our time, 9 your time. So, but yeah, so I already have somebody that's collecting that money for me, but here in the States, but they're apparently not doing a very good job. So we'll see. It could generate some more revenue. It could pay for the wedding. That would be nice, but it will take time. It will take many, many quarters. So you bought half of a pearl button. No, you bought a whole pearl button for $10. I saw the dress. It's interesting, but it's okay. It's all good. I love my daughter, so what she likes, she likes. And Jack my son is one of the bridesmaids. He's not going in a dress. He's not transgender or anything like that. He's just they just thought it would be funny. So whatever. Everybody knows us, so they know that the kids are goofing off. So I think she was short a bridesmaid or something is what it was. And so you're like, hey, and Alex is playing for the wedding. So I have to walk her down the aisle, which is going to be interesting. I mean, I've been at a lot of weddings. I've played a lot of weddings. I've never had to walk anybody down the aisle. It will be the only time I'll do it. Well, hopefully only time. So again, so what I want you to do is I want you to practice this first finger on the F sharp here, the 5 of the B chord. Okay, so that's the 5th, and we're going to the 9th or the 2nd, whatever you want to think of the C sharp. Oops, sorry. Okay, so play that, but play it short. Go boom, bop, and then maybe finish it, but at least go to that note. So I'm playing the F sharp again with the 3rd finger. Is that Wizard of Oz? Okay. Again, you practice those little pieces, those snippets, where the problem's going to happen, where you're going to... I like that. That's a nice melody, actually, for like a goofy thing. So you can finish it off like. And okay, here's the other thing. When you play that last lick, you're going to want to play it third finger, first finger, and then pinky. So you can go right to that power chord. You don't want. You're going to be tripping over your fingers to get to the power chord. See how I'm doing? See how I'm getting that pinky on there so I can go to the power chord? So maybe practice that. You're going to have to practice this riff more than you're probably going to have to practice the first two. The first two really lay in your hands nice. It's one of the reasons it's one of the first riffs you play when you pick up the guitar. You know, when you're learning the guitar, is one of the first songs you learn, back in the day especially. But it just fits. It's fun to play. It's kind of like. We might learn that one. Get a copyright on that quick, yeah. Yeah, I can hear it as like a. I write music for Sweetie Pie. So a lot of like, what is it? What's that? Sweetie Pies or something? Also, my Big Fat Fabulous Life. And they're always wanting kind of comedic stuff. So, you know, it's always like, okay, load the pizzicato strings. You know, I could probably have it right here. Let's see. I know I have the bass. But let's see, let's see, sustain, I want articulation. Oh, here we go, articulation. Well, I got a lot of staccato. No, what do I want? Pizzicato. There's pizzicato. So what was it? F sharp? I mean, that's exactly. It's hard. That to me is one of the hardest things to write for when I'm writing music for television. Is when they want something funny. It's like, well, what's funny? And it's very, very. It's very, very stereotypical. It's kind of cheesy to immediately go to the pizzicato. So I worked with Austin Wintry on a film, and we spent the day. Basically, he wanted it to be like just bass. Like bass was electric bass was the comedic instrument, and so we spent the day recording a bunch of bass licks. I played all sorts of things. I did slide bass with like a glass slide. You know, I did 2 slides in 2 different directions. You know, we just try to hit the strings with different things. We just recorded essentially what we did was we created a sample library that he could use in the film to set up certain scenes or to use in scenes. I forget what the name of the movie was. I never did see it, but it's comedic thing. You know, it's just I always think of like diminished. You know, it's very Bugs Bunny sounding to me, and so chromatic. You know, chromatic things are. Chromatic things are really funny, but what's a funny chord progression? That's like a really, or like augmented chords, like F major to F augmented. You could go D minor, saddest of all keys. Yeah, it's very Looney Toony. And I've got libraries of boing, those kind of things, but I never use those because it's that's super duper cheesy. And to me, that almost sounds like Foley. Foley is the sound effects. In the, when you hear someone walking upstairs, they record that separate. They don't they will capture audio, but that audio can be really noisy. So. Oh, Sam is saying it's a stretch playing the B lick out of the first position, but less jumping around. Yeah, not sure how Lennon played. Is there a video of them playing it live? Let me see. I'll mute it, but I'll watch his hands. Cause that song, they did do that song live. So let's look. Let's see if I can find it. Hold on a second. I'm not gonna play it though. Beatles. Hey, I'm speaking of live. Okay, so here they are. Even says official video. All right, so I'm gonna mute my sound real quick. Here's live at the Budokan. Again, I would have done all this. Here's Paul McCartney doing it in Argentina in 2010. I would have done this if I'd known I was going to do this song like sooner in the night. But by the time I got around to tabbing this thing out, I was so tired. And then yesterday I was all busy. So let's see. Okay, you can start playing it. Yeah, and of course they're doing a pull away shot. Oh, he's... Yeah. Interesting. George played an interesting chord there. That was interesting. I think. Now, John's was playing like power chords or like bar chords. There's an annoying amount of flashing going on here on this. Somebody, it's cool that they have these recordings, but okay, this is okay. Yeah, close-ups on the faces. I'm not seeing hands. Oh, there we go, hand. Okay, there's the lick. Paul's playing it up high. That's interesting. Okay, let me see their hands. I love seeing it. They're all so young. Look at them. It's amazing. Yep. So yeah, they're just playing the bar chord going up. See what they do for the B chord. Shoot, I wish I could hear this. Hold on. Okay. Oh, I can turn off the mic here. Hold on. Okay, so in this this live thing, it was a TV show thing. They were kind of doing the pissant thing and not playing where they're supposed to be playing just because it was they were lip syncing, which they hated doing. All bands, remember when they made the Rolling Stones lip sync? They had to do the other version of "Let's Spend the Night Together." They had to change the lyrics to "Let's Spend Some Time Together" to play it on TV. So anyway. They're beautifying the street outside, man. Yes, well, they were trimming our trees on our street. They're big, giant pine trees, and they were trimming them these 100-foot tall pine trees all up and down our street, and they were trimming them. Every day was a different side of a block. So they literally, it took them a couple weeks to get to them all. So we couldn't even leave our house for a day because they were like, I mean, they had massive trucks. They had these giant, cherry pickers that were 100 feet high because they were trimming from the top, and it's crazy. So LA City doing their job. So it's good. All right, so that's the B riff, and then I didn't. I think it just the guitar solo is over just a B power chord or a B7 chord. Getting new sewer covers. Oh, nice. So when the sewers explode, they won't blow up so high in the air or something. You know why they make them round, right? So they can't fall. If they were square or rectangular, you could turn them at an angle and drop them down. But if they're round, they can't be put in the hole, which is kind of brilliant. I'm like, who got hit on the head and invented the round ones? That's what I want to know. So anyway, so like I said, in the future, next week, if you don't mind, like maybe having a note to yourself, some questions to ask me. I wouldn't mind making. I know the first 20 minutes we're kind of all checking in. We're communicating with each other. We're saying hi. We're being friendly and all that stuff. But it's also 20 minutes of no lesson being taught, and some people get frustrated when they watch this video later. And I understand that, although this is the community we've created, and so, but I don't want people to feel like they're being excluded. It's hard to watch this afterwards because you can't go into the chat. Every now and then I'll get a comment on something, and they think that they're commenting in the chat, but they're not. Like, they'll answer a question that's happening in the chat, and they don't realize it's been answered. But some people think sometimes if the comment, it goes into the chat, but it doesn't. It's a separate thing. In fact, I don't even know if the chat is still there. If I can, you can still see it. It may take 24 hours to show up though. And what I'll try to do on every video in the future is I'll put a timestamp in there so you can go right to the beginning of the lesson where I actually start talking about the playing the part, the guitar part of the song. So that way you can skip all the chitter chatter. But we can make that first 10 to 15, 20 minutes a little bit more fruitful if I am answering questions while we're saying hi and while we're taking guesses on the song, okay? And they can always move forward in the video. Yeah, I get that too. But at the same time, when we start these things, it's often me interacting with, all saying hi to everybody, which is totally fine. But it's also a lot of you guys going back and forth with each other, and I'm just kind of staring at it. Those covers weigh 250, 300 pounds. Is that true, Bruce? Dang. Well, I've never tried to lift one up that I can remember. I know my friend Russ Miller was in China. He's a drummer, and he was there doing clinics or visiting the factory that makes his drums. And he was looking up at a building, taking a picture of a building and walking down the street, and he fell I kid you not, he fell in a manhole and dropped about 9 feet and was in the hospital. He had, it caused a blood problem, like it was like a compression kind of weird blood thing. So he was having blood clots caused by the fall. It was crazy. Class. Okay. Also, you can also suggest songs to learn. You've done it before. I almost shoot them all down because I hadn't thought about Aqualung. Aqualung could be a good one. That one's one that a lot of people have. I've taught through the years, but I doubt I've taught the whole song. It's one of those that you play the riff from, and then you just move on to the next riff. You don't play the whole song. So. Let's see, where is my list? Is it here? Yes. I'll put Aqualung down just for giggles, but Yeah, that's a good idea. Questions for the live. Yeah, and if you okay, so I thought Jack and Diane. Okay, here's a crazy thing about that. I've got my list in front of me. Aqualung. I don't know if I'll do Aqualung, but I'll put it on the list. I'll have to listen to it again. It may not be one that makes sense to do. But I'll tell you that Jack and Diane one. Okay, like if I go to my content here, let's see, right there. Go to content, click on live stream, and I'm going to tell you the view counts on these. Okay, well the current one is, but they're in order here. So, well that one. Okay, so I'm going to go back. 729, 850, 578, 900. Not even 1,000. None of the none of these are 1,000. Let's see. Don't Fear the Reaper was 1,100. Landslide was 1,200. Okay, so that one did pretty good. What is the REB? What was that one? Rebel, 1,200. So they get up there eventually. They're like 1,100, 1,200. Okay. Jack and Diane is at almost 2,900 views. Now I don't know that. Let me just see analytically if I made any money from it. Well, there was super chat in there. I think somebody. Well, Joseph gave me $4, so it's 784. I've gained 8 subscribers from it though, so that's really, and it's still getting views. Like right now, 11 views in the last 48 hours. So interesting that one took off. It is a great song. I mean, when you play that first lick, you do that. You play that D note. Like I said it when I was teaching the song. That D note is the hook. To me, that's the hook. It's like there is nothing else in music like that. There's no songs on the radio that have that much dead air in them. I mean, that's a lot of dead air in a song. We could compile a list of the top 10. The top 10 dead air songs. I don't know if I can find any. It's like number 1 is going to be Jack and Diane, though. Okay, so I'm going to put Jack and Diane in here. But I can't even think of any others right now of like, and it can't be like, there can't be a chord going through it or anything like that. Can you think of any? There can't be a keyboard pad going through it, or an organ or a drum fill going. No, that doesn't count. It has to be literally. Da-da. Oh, I think there's hand claps in there, isn't there? Da, 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 da. So yeah, it may not count, but if there's a beat going through there. Jim Croce, Jim Croce would be good. Let me just add him to my list. He would be electric. I think I have, back in the day, I taught some Jim Croce songs. I thought about one that I could do. Well, I'm not going to say it. I'm just going to write it. I taught this one a lot. It's more just learning the chords. Some of them just, like with the acoustic one, some of it, I'm generally tending to do riff stuff. Used to play clarinet when I was in school. Teacher was a bore. Yeah, I'm sorry about that. That's also true, Sam. A lot of fills in the Jim Croce stuff. Another one that's all fills, but it's a great chord progression, is El Paso, the song by Marty Robbins. That's a great song. And is Marty Robbins, I think, doing the licks too? I forget. It may be a famous guitar player doing the riffs. I don't think it was Tommy Tedesco. Let me look it up. See if it says El Paso song. Wikipedia. Let me see. Marty Robbins. versions covers week charts. Canada #1, U.S. #1. What year was it? 1959. Oh no, yeah, released in '59. Yep. I don't think that would have been. Those are great licks, though. I mean, they're so iconic. Cover versions, a lot of cover versions. Oh, here we go. Let's see. Maybe it's on Discogs. Let me check. 1966. This is a reissue. That says 66. It was released in. So let's go to Marty Robbins. Albums. Dang. He's on 84. It's one thing. If you have a hit, it gets on a lot. They still do these, like, records where it's, okay, so I got to go 59. Here it is. 10, yeah, that's it right there. Okay. Let's see if it has any musician credits. I just don't think they're going to have them. Okay. For one thing, it's appeared in a million things. Yeah, I'm not seeing any credits on here at all. Just the photography credit and the vocal credit, and that's it. That's too bad. Back in the day, they didn't really have credits. When I started getting into thinking about being an LA session guitar player, by then they'd start putting credits on records. Like, it started showing up more in the early 70s. Maybe 60s too. There would be some 60s record. I'm trying to think. I have the Monkees and the Association and stuff. I'm trying to think if they ever they would put the songwriters in there, but they might not put the musicians on there. And the way you find those out is that they've been compiling all the union contracts for all those. So if there were union sessions, then they have a list of all the musicians on it. The Brits did a much better job of that. They know all the names of the musicians that played on all the Beatles records, so that goes back pretty far. Grady Martin, I think you're right. I think that sounds right. It totally sounds like a Tommy Tedesco thing, but yeah, a lot of people have taught it. You can find those licks on YouTube all over the place. Again, I'm not sure. I don't really. That's a lot of work. Create this tab. Tab takes time. So, Google has a lot of control. Okay, let me see. Grady Martin. Yeah, it says, yeah. So somebody did a YouTube video about it. Oh, Grady Martin, there he is. Yeah. Is he still with us? No, he passed away in 2001, right after 9/11. Huh? Yeah. It's funny to see guys with their names on guitars. Oh, he played on Crazy. So he played on a lot of Patsy Cline stuff. A lot of Patsy Cline stuff. John Prine, Roy Orbison, Arlo Guthrie, Elvis Presley, Leon Russell, Joan Baez, J.J. Cale, Kai Winey. Where's... Oh, okay, yeah, Oh Pretty Woman, Saginaw, Michigan, Battle of New Orleans, Honky Tonk Man. So yeah, he played a lot of the classic stuff. Yeah, that's crazy. And probably just got session fees for those. See, today, if you did that, heck, I've seen guitar players get 5% of a song just for playing a guitar solo on it. I'm like, heck yeah. So and I've even been in situations where I've said, do, you know, I said, do I get a union contract on this? Do I get paid to play guitar? And they said, well, would you rather have writers? I'm like, oh yeah, I'd rather have writers because it pays much better. So, by the Rio Grande, Big Iron. Wait, let's see. Fred Barrett only played one string. That's crazy. Okay, so wait. I'm missing some stuff. So, new hello. You should go to Tom's channel. Mini's video for beginners. Oh, thank you for that, Sam. Yeah, and you know what? You guys can. Dennis, if you want to create a tab over at Discord for song lesson requests, feel free. And I'll go over there and peruse it every now and then. I may even make some comments or poo-poo the ideas. If you say, like, let's learn... gosh, what was it? It was actually... It was 4 songs that I worked with. I was going to do... I can tell you this one. We talked about this one. I was going to do Life in the Fast Lane. My sound's off. Oh, no. Oh, I went away from that. That's right. No, I want this. Where's my... I forgot. I got my pizzicato strings up. And maybe I'll do a video where I teach you like 5 fun riffs. The guitar players justifiably get a bad rap though about, you know, you'll play that much song when the people will be like, well, finish it. Oh, I don't know the rest. Because you just learned the riff, right? It's like, oh, I love this song. And then you stop playing it. Well, why aren't you playing it? Well, I don't know the rest. It's like, oh, I love that song. Yeah, I'm not playing the rest. It's going to take us 8 minutes. So the guitar players kind of have that reputation of just playing a bunch of riffs. So I kind of hate to do a lesson where I just teach you 5 riffs. It's like... He's like... I was going to do that one. The only problem with that one is I can't figure out if they're playing the C sharp in the bass or not. Is it A? When I watched actually playing the C sharp in the bass, so I hate playing A chord. So, but anyway. Oh, see you later, Jan. Yeah, so next Monday, I don't know when but Monday will be acoustic guitar, and I think, as far as I know, unless work explodes, and let me check and see if I've got someone who's dropping stuff in a Dropbox this week for me to work on. No. Oh, there is something new. Okay, so let me drag that over. Something to do. Let me see. Where's that? Okay, so I'm finished anyway, but so this is for a TV show. This goes in episode 104. So I'll move that to 104. And so yeah, I'm gonna do some work, but I'm gonna eat lunch first. It's lunchtime. I haven't had breakfast. So anyway, thank you. Hey, Barada. Oh, Kinks, yeah. Kinks songs would be fun. And like I said, I might take some of the songs and simplify them, but give you all the chords, maybe the form. I like to show you, like with Jack and Diane, I gave you the form, so you can see the whole form of the song and go, oh, A riff, B riff. I may not do a chart for the whole song, but I may do a kind of a cheat sheet, so you make sure that you at least know how the lay of the land of the song if you want to do the whole song. For a future idea, there are any solos that are useful to learn. Not too hard. Yes. That was the other thing I was going to do. I started to do Monday night. Like I said, I tabbed. This is why I didn't get this perfect was because, well, I'm never perfect. But someone say launch. I don't know that. Oh, lunch. I said lunch. Did it sound like I said launch? Because I'm wearing a NASA. I started to do a Black Magic Woman because I taught that a million times. That's a great, fairly simple song. So I may still do it. I started tapping it out. I may still do it because I think you could probably, oh. I love that. That one lick right there has 3 different guitar elements. A pre-bend, which is very hard because you have to get the note to the pitch without listening to it. So you got to. So I could spend a whole lesson just on this one riff. This is the. That riff right there is crazy. So it's got a pre-bend, a release bend, and then a bend up, and then a release and pull off. It's like everything went. Another pre-bend. No. I love this one. I love it. I taught that song so many times. The other one was Sultans of Swing is a fun one. So you could learn Sultans of Swing. We could do that one, but it would take more than one lesson. I could teach the song first, and the first lesson, learn the chords so you could play rhythm on it, and then start to teach licks. But here's one of the things I want you to listen to. Next time you listen to it, you can pull it up after we're done. When you listen to Sultans of Swing, notice how, and again, the licks are being played by Mark Knopfler, and the song's being sung by Mark Knopfler, and it was written by Mark Knopfler. Okay, notice how the licks react to the lyrics. Guitar George, he knows all the chords. And then when he's doing the horn section, the horns play. He's playing horns on the guitar. He's playing that horn line when he does like the, what is it? Was it? It's in D minor basically, but. I mean, you gotta love that lick right there. He's just outlining the A major, and then goes up to the F natural to imply the D minor. That's it. And they just said. This is doing a D minor arpeggio, or D minor, but that's a great. Those are great licks. So that's a great song if you want to learn like the solo of a song. But notice that the licks are oftentimes talking about the church bell rings. Da da da. He does that, or the not church bell ring. It's was it the church bell ring? I can't remember. But he's kind of continuing to tell the story with the guitar licks, which is brilliant. Kind of like El Paso in some ways. It kind of reminds me of that in that regard. Sid. Was that a Sid and Marty Krofft? Oh my gosh, Sid and Marty Krofft. All right. So I'm going to take off. I love hanging out with you guys. But it's been a couple hours, and I've got some work to do, and I got to eat some lunch, and then Beth's getting home, and all of that. So let me just look real quick in this other folder. Oh, he did add stuff in this folder too. Okay, so this just happened. Oh, we actually a lot of stuff to work on. Okay, so I'm dragging these over, and this is for Austin Wintry. And sometimes the music can be quite challenging, which is always fun for me. But we're getting now. Okay, now everybody's starting to show up. I'm sorry, I'm signing off. Anyway, we did Day Tripper today. There might be another Beatles song in our future. I probably would like to do a couple more, maybe. Maybe Blackbird at some point. Hey, Jeff Hedbeck, what's going on? I didn't see you here. Have you been here the whole time? Jeff's one of the best studio room designers in the world. I wish I had like the justification. Jeff's looking at my room going, "You've got those in the wrong." Oh, that's got to cause problems. Yeah. Fortunately, I'm doing all close miking things or direct, so I'm not miking amps. But Jeff's a freaking genius. So, let's see. I will be back on Monday, Lord willing, and we will do an acoustic song. Okay, so I got to figure out something. I got my list. We did Sister Golden Hair. Oh yeah, we could do that one. That would be an easy one. I mean, I like doing the easy ones because even though it kind of. Oh, I have that one in here already. Oh, isn't that funny? Okay, I just wrote it down. Okay, we did Jack and Diane, so I can delete that. Not delete it. Just exit out so I don't do it again. We can get far enough in here where I go, so we're learning Jack and Diane today, and you're like, you taught that one 16 weeks ago. I'm like, oh yeah, right, shoot. So, but yeah, we'll get to work next week on something acoustic. So get your acoustic ready. There was a song I might do, Dad Gad. We'll see. I'll talk to you. We'll know. Anyway, yeah, everybody have a good one. God bless you, and take care. See you soon. Bye bye.